Guess what? You will not believe it. We have reached the last session of the day. It has been impactful in so many ways, you all. I'm telling you, I have learned so much about so many things. Now it's time for me to introduce the other guests today. Today we have, of course, a few more people coming in. We are all going to be in here together, speaking about some very in depth things that are affecting us right now. Um, I love the fact that Crystal is going to lead us in this roundtable discussion. We know that we're all being impacted by COVID, and we're just going to kind of dig a little bit deeper into the effects of COVID 19 and how not only is it impacting our students, but it is impacting us as well. So, Crystal, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you're here, and we're switching from STEM and sliding into COVID. And let's start talking about some of the interruptions that you have experienced as a teacher in the classroom.
Well, I think all of us can remember, especially in Aldine, the spring break that will never ever be forgotten. And basically, preparing to go home for spring break and learning that we had this onset of this pandemic. And it gets very emotional for me because when my students left for spring break, I didn't know that was going to be the last time I was going to see them. And I was an eighth grade teacher, so it was very profound to me that we had these group of students that were eighth grade getting ready to transition into high school, and we were not going to see them again. And you become attached. So when COVID hit, I don't think it really took effect to that second or third email that Dr. Goffney sent out, and telling them return this day and return on that day. And when it really sunk in with me is April the 15th. And that's when I said, we're not going back. We're not going back. And I'm not from here. So my campus was my family. And, between going to work and dealing with my students and working with an awesome staff, and then you're in isolation, but you're still having to produce as a teacher. We're still having to get all these things together. As I stated in the last with the STEM, I was fortunate enough to have enough knowledge to get through the basics because I had already implemented Google Classroom, with instance of the digital team with Aldine ISD, which you all are just y'all are just awesome. I'm just thankful that you all worked with us through that time. And but the loss of not being able to have that connectedness and being able to say goodbye to your students.
Mhm.
But I think the reality of everything is that we were concentrating on students. As teachers, we were going through it as well.
Yeah.
um it was it was it was the hardest. We have a pretty tight team, a social studies team at T Middle School. And I had said from day one that was the best team I had ever worked with in years. But we still, we called each other every day. But then when you're not able to see them and you're not able to have those, live crazy conversations with them, going, even though, work is hard and we're trying to prepare for this and trying to prepare for testing, but to lose connectedness with all that you've known, it was something. Um, Education has been in my life for years, and to see a pandemic change my whole thought process of how education was and how I am to basically transform and not fight that inner demon of being angry, because you can't let students see that. You got to be able to stay poised, you got to be able to stay positive and be cognizant of what's going on with the students as well, and trying to understand. But what can you understand that you can't see? What can you understand that you can't see? And I can truly say that, with the SEL component coming in and teaching us about social emotional learning, um, being able to go through those workshops that we went through in the beginning that prepared us for what we were going to encounter. But it wasn't until you actually saw the student that you understood what was really going on. And I tell you, it's just truly amazing how I just mentioned to you all that if I had to go through the fire with the district, Aldine would be the fire that I'd go through the district with, because you all have taken really good care of us, providing us the technology that we need. Listening, I mean, I'm calling, asking questions every day, because you never are going to become that expert. But if you can get the basics down, if you can get the basics down, and once I got the basics down with Schoology, I was good. But now I'm good. And now I'm trying to get my students to where they can perform as well. I can say that, with the students coming back to school and having that opportunity to have that one on one, they have started to accept, and some of them are so elated to be back. But if it wasn't for a strong technology team like you all, I mean, seriously, we're good, but we are as good as you all allow us to be. I can't even imagine if, not having a strong technology department like you all. I just can't even imagine it. And the drooling hours that you all have to go through every day trying to, stay on top of things to help us. So basically, kudos goes to you all. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, I can look and learn all day long, and I can do this platform, and I can, go through STEM that I went through in 20 minutes. But you two guys, you took the handle and you went there. So without crying, I mean, I'm thankful. I
Miss
truly am
Roper,
thankful. But COVID has been something else. Yes, it
how has
has.
it impacted you, at your school, Miss Roper?
So yes, I was going to tell Miss Crystal. I'm a teacher. I'm a classroom teacher. I teach elementary fourth grade math and science. And yes, when we stopped for COVID, I mean, when we stopped for spring break and went home, and I think, but I always keep saying this, but once we knew we were not going back, and I started to communicate with my parents, I felt we built a stronger relationship with the parents, because elementary school,
Hmm.
their parent involvement is very, very crucial. And I think just, they got to see what it really takes, kind of, maybe. I'm looking at what I saw was positive from the whole experience. I really built a stronger relationship with my students and the parents of the students. So this is what they need to do. And thankfully, we got that little period where we were not really grading them, but they could still, we still wanted them to be doing something on Schoology. So they kind of, okay, this is what Schoology looks like. Go to Clever, go to this black little S and click on that, like absolute ABCs of being online. But that was the biggest learning for us, to just, okay, how are we going to be able to reach them? And I have my children at home. They're in a different district, and what the schools were doing for them. And then my family's from India. My brother lives in India, and this was a worldwide thing. This was not something that only Houston was dealing with, like Harvey, for example, or something, right? Everyone was dealing with it, and everyone had an input. Okay, we are trying to do this, so we are doing this. So it kind of, I think, as much as we were all in our homes, it kind of brought us all together, because this was something that we all had to do together. And I think that was the most powerful thing for me, that we are really in this together.
I can honestly say that I was not in the classroom and haven't been in the classroom for a while. I've been on the instructional side, like the instructional coaching side, where I've been on one campus. And it's real hard for me because I support teachers. That's my love, because I like to come into a classroom and to be able to not only not access a classroom, but not access to students in the classroom was like, I didn't know what to do. I felt like I was helpless, almost to the point where there was a form of depression I felt, because I'm like, well, what am I good for? What am I doing? I don't even know what to do. I didn't know how to support teachers. So at the same time, I asked several other, at that time, it was math instructional coaches, to come together, and we began to build a sandbox course where we just started putting loads and loads of information, creating calendar links and different things of this, so that the students could have even over the summer. And we started this in the latter part, when we were hit during the spring break, never to return kind of thing. But what I've noticed is that it's been a shift, and I'm grateful for the shift, because I think that we can look to the negative of COVID, but we can also look to the positive, because now look at how many things you're learning in the technical world, right? That you can still incorporate
Mhm.
even after COVID is gone, and we're through with the pandemic. I think that it has allowed us to advance instruction and also keep some things that I think may not ever leave, because it's much easier or it's more engaging for students. There's a new level of understanding, so I want to talk to that. So what are some new tools maybe that you are now utilizing, let's say this year, that you didn't know about or didn't use last year? Either one can jump in and answer your question.
Well, I can say that I had been exposed, and let me go back a little bit when you were saying how things have changed. It was an eye-awakening experience for me, because look at all the training that we have attended, and we thought we were the gurus of technology prior to COVID. I mean, we really thought we had everything down, down pat. And you sit there and you reflect back on, okay, well, I'm trying this. I should already know how to do this. So bringing forth your experience, especially with your doctoral degree, and then with me getting into the program, it opened up my eyes that we really didn't get what we really thought we were getting. We got the basic foundation, but we really weren't prepared to take on what we had to take on. So it opened up my eyes, and it really gave me an insight of, like you said, real world situations. This is what we really need to be doing. So it's kind of disheartening, because if we thought we got all this training and we're supposed to be preparing our students for 21st century learning,
Hmm.
then it is our responsibility to make sure that these students get where they need to be.
Absolutely.
Because we I really feel that we were lacking, and I don't think we really knew we were lacking until COVID hit. I don't think that we really understood the impact of what we were lacking until COVID hit, because we've been so focused on testing and scores, and making sure that we meet this AYP, that AYP.
Hmm.
And when COVID hit, where's AYP? It's forcing it. COVID forced us to look at a situation that we had band-aid. We
Hmm.
had a band-aid on that situation. And so it uncovered, because I think we just kept, covering the wound, covering the wound, covering the wound. And then when the wound was exposed, everybody had deer headlights. Like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So it completely forced us to learn differently. It
Hmm.
forced us to be outside the box. And
Absolutely.
as I stated in my prior presentation, I'm very thankful to have had the opportunity to attend the space camp and be able to, and because it just wasn't about space camp, it was about how to integrate technology in the classroom and toward online learning. If I had not had that opportunity prior to coming back this year, I don't think I would be as not as successful, but be the teacher that my students need me to be at this particular time. So when you look at materials and tools, like I knew about Neopod, but how to implement Neopod in Schoology, how to, how to, we have Pear Deck. How do we implement that into, Schoology? Learning how to do live classroom Schoology. I mean, it just really, like I said, you have no choice now but to get out of your box.
Absolutely.
You have no choice now but to become transparent, which is a word that I have learned in its entirety. Being transparent, and you have to be fair with your students, even in my face-to-face class. And I'm still learning with them. I'm still not an expert, but I'm still learning with them. And it's really made it more engaging in the classroom. And like I said, with your expertise, it's just been amazing. I mean, I'm just very thankful, very thankful.
Awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, and like I see Miss Higgins, I see her statement. Yes, I mean the kids were. She says there were tears of joy, and I absolutely I agree that. And likewise, right? For me, when I saw my kids, and then they were like, and they could see each other on the screen, and they was like, oh my gosh, they have children. They are so they need each other. They need company. They need to be with kids of their own age, and just being at home by themselves. And they were like, when is this going to be over? I want to come back to school. And just seeing their classmates on the screen and saying hi, it was emotional for a lot of students when we first started doing the meet and watching each other. Yes, I totally agree. Yes, yes, definitely.
So I guess my question now really is, um, do you think that the devices that we have now that they've been distributed, all the kids are have access, hotspots are in place. Do you think that instruction has been impactful to their learning, like now the way that we're doing it? Because it's really we're putting it, we're front loading, we're giving you everything, but do you see the effects? Do you see that instruction is really showcasing itself when assessments are given? Um, do you actually see the wealth of knowledge that you're putting all this hard work into your instruction in this digital platform? On the other side, are you seeing the benefits of it with your students?
I'm seeing the benefit gradually, because what I'm still running into is that the students are having the accessibility for the laptops at school,
Hmm.
but we still have, quite a few that don't have the devices at home. My instruction, yes, it has become more diversified because of that. We're being forced to learn the techniques because we have no choice. It's not a force that, oh, I don't want to do it. It's a force that if we're going to be that teacher that this student needs at this time, that we have to go above and beyond. I did see a comment about video conferencing. My video conferencing with my students has really taken on a new meaning because I still have quite a few students at home and their parents have chosen to continue to have them at home. But I know that, once I post that daily video or that daily discussion of what's expected for today, what I am seeing is that I'm getting a lot of gratitude. I'm
Hmm.
getting a lot of students that are really appreciative. I'm able to, respond to the emails. I mean, I'm getting emails, thank you, Miss Conigland. I appreciate you, Miss Conigland. So I think it has been more of transformation for all of us,
Mm-hmm.
because it's made a lot of us realize and have a lot of empathy for students, because we still don't know how these students are when they leave the building. But what I tell my students is that when you come inside the door in my classroom, this is your safe zone.
Mm-hmm.
And for that 45 minutes, it is your safe zone. And I'm going to give you the best instruction that I can.
Mm-hmm.
And with the online learning and with the technology and learning how to, how you say, when you learn how to connect the two, then that's when you know that you're on your game. And that's what I'm learning now. I'm learning how to connect the instructional piece with the technology piece.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, because I even have a face to face and an online at the same time. And the development of my technology in the classroom, I'm able to, hey, Susie, take my phone, videotape me while I'm doing this lesson, and then upload it. And we, go from there. So it's really, I mean, I can say that I'm proud of myself, because I didn't think I'd get to this level of instructional teaching with the component of technology. And my students get a kick out of it, because sometimes, like what happens in STEM, it'll happen with zoology. But what my students get a kick out of is that even though I know we're supposed to take 6 feet, social distancing, and mask on, I just say, zoology is down. We're going to we're just going to go old school. So being able to transition from old school, and I can go right back into technology or in virtual learning if I have to, I can say that I'm starting to master that technique.
Mm-hmm.
And it still has a lot of growth to go. But yes, I do see that it is being very productive. I saw it in my scores last week benchmark or DCA, and I was very impressed to see that I had students, my online learners, were scoring 70, 80, 90%. And
Mm-hmm.
that's because I've learned how to be able to, do that transition and be able to, carry out that instruction. And it's not, and some teachers think, like you being a robot, but you got to be yourself. I mean, you're going to mess up, you're going to do things, but like someone just said, parent involvement is so crucial. Yes, it is. Because I mean, if you don't have that constant communication with parents, you're not going to get the product that you need. And with the technology and with the parent involvement, I mean, I even have parents, they even know how to do video conferencing calls now. So yeah. And I had one parent, I was like, who's calling me on the computer? And it was a parent. So these parents are appreciative as well. they're learning how to they're learning how to do things as well. I even had a student that was at home that took control of my mouse, and he was moving my. I was like, "What are you doing?" So really, yeah, it's teaching. It's a threefold situation. Teachers are learning, students are learning, and parents are learning as well.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
How have you handled it, that portion of that, Miss Roper? Have you seen um the parent involvement that you need? Have you seen the students, even those that lack the devices, still yet able to participate?
It's different. I mean, elementary, it needs a lot more parental involvement,
Hmm.
especially for the very low little babies who are first grade,
Hmm.
kinder, first, second grade. They need still, them little fingers are not so dexter, they're not used to those things. So I wouldn't say it has been a great ride. It has been challenging. It has been because they are sharing devices
Yeah.
with their other, and so it's not been, but I know that I'm really proud. They are really, I'm amazed at how hard everyone is working. Everyone is working a lot more than they would be otherwise. We are, I know we are working a lot more, and definitely the students are working a lot harder. Our results were not phenomenal the first 9 weeks, but we did have some results. There were kids who, I mean, we did reach, even if we reached 30%, we reached 30% because every child counts. So, I mean, I think it was a step because the whole thing is new. The entire everything I went to college about teaching is different,
Absolutely.
right? Everything. I mean,
Mhm.
I mean, I have 2 closets full of resources, but I can't use any of that because those are pieces of paper that I cannot reach my kids with. So, considering that, I think everyone is working really hard, and it probably is like, okay, now we finished one cycle, so now kind of everybody knows what it really is going to take. We've done 9 weeks of education like this, and this is what it's going to take. So I'm positive that in the next semester we will see a lot more lot more, I want to say, like, input or resources coming in from the parents, from the students as well as the parents. Okay, now this is not a game anymore. This is real, and this is what it's going to be.
With that, I love
Mhm.
what I'm looking at Jane's comment in regards to, having many parents respect teachers because they're, teachers within the home now. So now that your students, those that are back in the classroom, and I love the fact that Michelle brings out a very valid point. Have you seen kids really making sure that they too adhere to the standards that we set in regards to respect for COVID? How is that working with, hand sanitizing, keeping the distance, washing hands? How has that worked for you too? Either one can start.
Um, I will tell you that on my campus that I have seen so many students practice safe distancing
Awesome.
and with the hand sanitizer. I have sanitation stations set up in my classroom. So we have our norm already, set up and set in place. Kids know they're to line up at the door and they know not to come into my room until they get a squirt. So when they come into my room, they get that squirt, they come and sit down. We The students that I have taught, I'm teaching, they are very cognitive of what is expected of the safe distancing and keeping their face coverings on, because we can only do so much in the building.
Hmm.
But I can tell you that when it comes to teachers making sure that the students has the opportunity to do the sanitizing with the sanitizer that we have, making sure that we have the materials in the classroom, and we just trying to we're making it happen.
Absolutely.
I even have some students, that would say that, you know, um, I need, if they're masked, oh, I need to go get my mask. I need to get my mask.
Hmm.
And, they'll be running, I need to get my mask. So they are more aware of what is expected of them, and they know that what they need to do in order to stay safe. So basically, it's an expectation that they know that they have to carry through. And it's no, I mean, we have coaches in the hallways. When the bell rings, we're out there in the hallways. We're making sure that all the students following, we have our tape, making sure they go on one side, making sure everybody stays in their place. So, our campus, we're all working together, and the students, even with the new set of students that we got on Monday, well,
Hmm.
Tuesday, on the 20th, um, it wasn't a lot of disorderness. I mean, the students want to be there. They want to follow the directions. They want to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do to stay safe. And when they come into the classroom, it's all about strictly business. And like I said, they know what they're supposed to do, and they know they're supposed to have the mask on. Now, Miss Conigland, on the other hand, when I'm trying to teach in front of the classroom and I'm mumbling, sometimes I will slide my mask down, but I'll put it back up. But
Yeah.
Miss Conigland can do that, But yes, with everything as a whole, yes, our campus, we're doing new, and the students are, doing what they're supposed to do as well to stay safe.
Miss Roper?
Yeah, it's a little different story for elementary, especially with the super little ones. They need, like Miss Higgins said, it is a lot. They need a lot more reminders. I mean, like constant remind, especially about the social distancing, right? We are so naturally social beings. It's difficult for us to stay away, right? But it's really endearing to see how they're all, little bit, their little bitty hands. And I'm like, we're not doing T-Rex hands, we're doing big hands. And we just make it up. I mean, but it is a lot. And I really appreciate the lower grades, especially teachers in kinder, first, second, because it takes a lot from them. They are doing, I think they're doing an amazing job just making sure the kids are away. But kids by themselves, I think mask has not been a problem. Hand sanitizing has not been a problem. Our campus, it's everywhere, And the thing is, like Dr. Goffney just said, it's universal expectations.
That's right.
Everywhere they go, it's just, that's what is expected. So that is nice for them to know that, it's not like, okay, here it's different and there it's different. So that is absolutely true. Universal expectations makes it so much more consistent for the kids. But definitely it is a lot more number of reminders in a lower grade versus even, I teach fourth grade. And I just got my second batch of kids that came in on Tuesday. So like, remember you guys, that's where you sit there and you sit there.
Awesome.
You're not,
Awesome.
it's working. It's work in progress.
I love the fact that but I love the fact that we're able to talk about the advancement in the technology and how we all have evolved, right? And even on the digital learning platform, it's keeping us learning more and more and more, so we can bring more and more when we have POC discussions or when we're talking to program directors. Another thing for you guys, have you seen yourself starting to look and research new ways to do different things in the digital platform?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Please talk about that. Please share.
Absolutely.
No,
I feel
that's
I have
good.
learned
Yeah.
so many.
You can go first.
Oh my gosh. No, because I love that we use technology. And we also did the summer camp this year, which was completely online.
yeah.
And that was fantastic. It was phenomenal. The amount of support, the participation, and then so many things that everybody learned so much in that whole process of 1 month of online summer camp, right? As for teachers, I'm saying as teachers, we like, oh, we can do this and oh, we can do that. And we were sharing the resources. We came together as a community, I feel, even during the summer camp. And then now, it has forced me and made me grow as a person. Like there's so much more I've learned in this, 7 months.
True
as a
definition
family,
of lifelong learner. True definition.
And then I think we are modeling for the kids, right? They see how we are, even at home, the way we are talking about the situation or what we are doing. Our kids are constantly watching and learning. So I think absolutely, yes, it has been phenomenal as a person for me, all the growth that it has called me to be.
Miss Crystal, share with us, please. Please, what have you been digging in and learning?
I just have to think about my team because like yesterday I was at work and it was a Friday and I didn't hear anybody in the hallway and it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock. And my teammate called me and told me to go home. I say that because we are constantly after hours, going to going to have, dinner after work and calling each other on the phone and when it came to we had a lot of video training we had to do last week. So it basically because I had more of the flexible schedule and they were face to face. I'm a team player, so I would say, okay, guys, I'm gonna look at the video and we're gonna discuss the questions and then we're gonna work together and get the answers. And so, now they come to me and say, Conigland, how we do this, how we do that, or whatever. Yes, I would say that this has really changed me into a new person. And even my daughter, who's still home, because she's a COVID graduate, she'll see me at the computer at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and she was like, "Didn't you leave work at 5?" Like, no, I didn't leave until 6. No. So I'm still working, and
Mhm,
I'm sitting
mhm.
here looking at Jody Gilliam, and it's her fault I work like this because she pushed me to the level that I am. But it's the expectations, because I'm just gonna be honest with you. I mean, all jokes aside, if we don't go beyond that scope of what we are given, and we
Mhm.
become better at what we're doing, then
Mhm.
we're still going to be stuck,
Yeah.
because we're already behind the 8 ball when we talk about developing this 21st century student.
Yeah.
So yes, if we're taking our careers seriously, and we know that we have children's lives in our hands, then you have no choice but to go above and beyond. It does bother me even when I have students that are early arrivals that have actually in my class. I got two last week,
Mhm.
and trying to find ways, without the intense training that we used to get, when we used to
Mhm.
get the psyop training, and we
Yeah.
had face-to-face training. So now it's like we got to remember, okay, this is what psyop and this is what we do, but then who can I call?
Mhm.
And so it's disheartening when we don't have those trainings that we're going to be face to face, where you have those instructors sitting in front of us and giving us directions and what we need to be doing. So basically, it's forced us to work together. I mean, I hate to keep bragging about my team, but I love my team because we have a group meet, and we do, even though I may not be teaching 8, we're all teaching different grade levels, but we're all working together to try to make sure that we get those components that we're supposed to have. And that is normally on Saturdays and late Friday nights when we're all, trying to figure out what to do. Um, so yes, it has forced me to go outside the box and be able to, go beyond. But as Jody just stated, and then Dr. Goffney, universal expectation, working collaboratively. The only way you're going to make it, you're going to have to do it. It's not an I anymore. It's not,
Yeah.
our teachers get on this island and I'm going to teach by myself and I'm going to do this. You can't do that now. There
Mhm.
is no way possible, because you've got to work as a team.
Yeah.
It's forced us to work as a team.
Mhm.
And if you somebody that's working by themselves, then we need to check on them, because I want to know how they're doing it, because
Mhm.
this cannot be successful if we're not working together.
Oh yes,
They really, I
absolutely.
mean, I don't, if they're working by themselves, I don't know how they're doing it, because there is no way that I could be as successful in my classroom without depending on my team. There's just no way. And then, with the leadership that we have, she constantly gives us things, keeping us updated. And
That's good.
then we have our area student, who's
That's good.
constantly working with skills. So, we try not to get mad because we're sitting in the PLC and we're thinking we got all this caught up, and then it's like, oh, you got to do this, this, and this. So I'm the one they look at. I'm looking at them like, Dad, going, I thought we just got all this done. But the I used to work on a farm, and this is this is what my father used to say. It's gonna hurt in the beginning, and you're gonna see a lot in the beginning. But if we give it to you in the beginning, when it gets toward the end, we're gonna be okay.
I love it.
So I'm looking at this ship
Right.
at the end, and we're
I
gonna
love
be
that.
okay.
But that's true. That's with anything. That's with
Mhm.
anything. Just think of every single thing that you had to learn. In the beginning, it was hard. And I see now that there has already been a shift completely in the culture of education, period.
Mhm.
The fact of respect, the fact of new tools being used. So with that being said, and I'll let this be my last question because we're right at about maybe 10 minutes out. I'm going to ask. So, with everything going on, we know that we support kids that are yet dealing with social emotional. How are you, as teachers that are constantly collaborating, constantly looking for new tools, constantly yet dealing with the effects of COVID within your personal life? What are you doing as your downtime, as your woosah, as your relax? What are you doing?
I
You
run.
asking me that?
So
Really?
I love it.
That was funny.
Go ahead, Miss Ruth. You answer that question because she knows she's not asking.
No, no, no. I know it's so good. That was funny. Oh
That's
God.
that's how I survive.
Oh, that's good. Please
That's
let
good.
me
No,
know.
no, but
Yes, go
it is
ahead.
so important. Self-care is very important.
Absolutely. Right
Very
now, it
important.
for
So
sure
I
is.
run and I do yoga and I run. I used to run more often, but now I run only on Saturdays because I'm pretty much working every other time.
Mhm.
And as my family as well is like, if you are not, you need to take that time off and go do something for yourself, because if not, you're sitting in front of your computer all the time.
Mhm.
But I think it's important. So yeah, that's what I do. I run on the weekends. I run, and then I do yoga almost every other night.
Now, Miss Crystal, I think me and you, we do about the same thing in our downtime, and that is spending time writing dissertations. Be it that we are
That's
both
Oh,
just
in the
like when
doctoral program.
it's like
oh
when you
Lord.
asking me that. I'm gonna ask you, what do you do? And no, I would tell
Reading and
you,
writing.
no, 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 no. Let me tell you something. I had to, just like Miss Ruka. No, I do. I had to, Heather. I do work out 3 times a week. I do. I have to, and it's like it's a chore because I get off work and I try to get here and I try to do my workout or whatever. And it's more so of a health, making sure I stay healthy, um,
Yeah.
and taking that time away. But I will say that I have learned how to meditate.
Mm,
I how to meditate,
that's good.
and I will not turn on. I will not TV. Yeah, I will not turn on TV, and I will just sit here and reflect, on what happened in the day. But when I go work out, I have certain music that I listen to, and my son is like, "Mom, I can't believe you listen to that kind of music." But oh well, whatever. It gets me through the workout.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
when I go into the gym and I get on that uh the treadmill,
Hmm.
and I get into my zone and I'm reflecting on what has happened in the day, how I need to stay, basically sane going through
Hmm.
this because living in Houston, I've developed a network, but imagine being here and you have no family.
Yeah.
You have your 2 children, but they have their own lives. And so, like you, we are doctoral students, but I even learned how to turn that into turn it into a positive
Yeah.
because I taking those components that I'm learning, and believe it or not, I said this. I said, man, if I would have knew this a long time ago, if I would have knew how things are to be a long time ago, seriously, because
Hmm.
I'm even understanding some leadership,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
But and I think I might have mentioned this.
Hmm.
When we went to school, to get the admin in the very beginning, I feel like it was, knowing I know now, it was a watered down situation that they really didn't prepare us for what we're going through now. I mean, I know Dr. Goffney's on here, and I'm not trying to be funny, but undergrad was worked down because right now, to be in the shoes of our superintendent and how she's handling it,
A,
she's the real hero.
absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No
I'm
She's
doubt.
trying
real,
to
she's
respect
real,
Absolutely.
everybody, but that is
and
correct.
I'm not trying to get no brownie points. I'm just being real.
I think
Oh
anybody
To
yeah.
what
elevates.
we
I mean,
know
hats off.
now,
That's right. Hats off. Yeah.
Heather, I mean,
You have to be
mm,
called.
mm,
This
mm,
is a
mm.
called
That's
position,
that's a praying woman.
not chosen, but
You
called.
that it's not for the weak and it's not for the weary.
Yeah.
It definitely is not.
So with
Mm-mm,
that being
mm-mm.
said, I
No,
just
it's
want to
not.
say, um, I sincerely appreciated this conversation. I hope those that attended were able to gain something, or if not, just joining in the conversation to let you know, hey, we are all in the same boat, trying to do what's best for all these students, every last one of them. And let me tell you, from the digital learning side, I whatever I have to do with program directors to working with my PLCs, whatever we try and do and make this as easy as possible. However, we can walk you through it. And I'll tell you in a minute. I always tell people, calm down. It's okay. The first calls we get, Schoolage is that it's okay, calm down. It's okay. We got you. It's all right. I tell you, breathe. That's my word. Just breathe. It's okay. We got it. It's okay. So just know when you
Mhm.
get in those situations, just breathe. Just breathe, sincerely. Nobody wrote this book. We writing it now, y'all. COVID, we none of us have been through this, so and I think we're doing a absolute impeccable job as a whole. As Aldine and all the other teachers that are coming in from across the big pond, as well as those in other states, you all are doing a phenomenal job. No matter what, keep it up. Make sure you take care of yourself. Get your woosah time in. Continue to collaborate. And of course, I have my Twitter out there, you guys. You're more than welcome to follow me. You can email us. Of course, if you're on SCED, you already see our information. By all means, please reach out to us. I don't have a problem with supporting anybody on any campus. I have a wealth of knowledge to give and don't mind giving it, but I definitely want to make sure that I give you that very last secret, super secret password so that you can gain credit for this wonderful session, you all. Thank you so very much. Ms. Roper, you've been with me all day long. We have
It's
brought
been
it out.
wonderful, honey.
It
It's
has been
been wonderful.
absolutely
Yes.
amazing. Amazing.
Loved
Aldine,
it.
we have done it. We have broke the record, baby.
Yay.
Nobody has done what we did today.
Absolutely. Yes.
We did this.
We did this.
I'm
We
like,
did this.
you just don't know. I'm like, I'm so proud. Like, I'm so proud. If y'all thought we won't CNN before, baby, oh, you just don't know. We
You
got it
haven't.
going on. So there's your super secret password, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining in. The word is success, and what a way to end, because you guys, that is exactly
Yes,
what we're trying to
yes,
do. That's what we're
yes.
doing. We are living witnesses, walking in success right now. So make sure you understand that word is case sensitive, the capital S in the very beginning, UCCESS. Thank you so very much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for spending your day, getting your PD credit. Man, I have learned so much and I'm excited. I can't wait to go home and watch the rest of the videos. But thank you so much, Crystal. We have a newfound friendship
You
because
are
we have spent this week
thank
together.
thank you.
Ms. Roper,
Thank
please.
you.
Neither one of you are on the campus that I support, but guess what? You got my email. Shoot me a message or let me know if you need anything. By all means, please.
Yes. Yes.
Thank everybody for tuning in.
We
It
sure
has
will.
absolutely wonderful, 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 wonderful. Thank you so very
Wonderful.
Yes,
much.
it
All
Thank
right.
has.
you.
Yes, it has.
Bye bye,
Thank
you
you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye. Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Absolutely.
Bye.